I've always wanted to record a reaction on a video by Jordan Peterson talking about belief. And the reason for that is because we Christians sometimes take belief for granted. I am a Catholic, and we always say, I believe in God. And most of the times, we have taken for granted what it really means to believe in God. I think Jordan Peterson here has a very clear, brutal take on what does it really take to believe. But in the beginning, he becomes uncomfortable with the question. And I think he has all the right to be uncomfortable, especially when he was not raised as a Christian. I just feel like he is making so much sense, and it gives us Christian a fresh perspective because he is an outsider. Let's dive in.
Then the question came to me, do I believe in God? And I don't like that question. And people have complained at me a lot, and I'm sure they have their reasons because they don't like my answers, and I have two answers. They've kind of become stock, which is not a good thing. But they're the best approximate. I can't figure out why I don't like the question exactly. I had three sort of burgeoning hypotheses. One was, it's none of your damn business. That's the first one. So it's like a privacy issue. Like it seemed to me to be a question that was too private to be answered properly. And so, you could consider that a cop-out, and maybe it is. And then another one was, well, what do you mean by believe? Like, do you mean the words? Do you mean to say the words, I believe in God? Does that indicate that you believe in God?
It's very normal for me to say I believe in God, but what happens is that we just say the word, but we without really a careful, reflective examination of what does it really mean. I don't think God may mean this to be just a shallow word that everybody can just say anytime they want, but when we say it and we mean it, it's going to transform our lives. Let's continue.
Is what you believe what you say or what you act out? Now, I would say to some degree it's both, but if push comes to shove, as far as I'm concerned, what you believe is what you act out, not what you say. And then, and if you're an integrated person, then what you act out and what you say are the same thing. And then you're a person whose word can be trusted, right? Because what you say and what you do are isomorphic. They're the same thing. But belief is instantiated in action. So I have also suggested that I act as if I believe in God, or to the best of my ability. And people aren't very happy with that either. And then the third is that I'm afraid that he might exist, which I think is the most comical of the three answers and perhaps the most accurate one.
He says it in a way that makes it lighter, that God may exist, but I can feel something there. The real concern that what if I did not believe in God and he was real? That even if you believe in God by fear that he might exist, you would still be better believing in him than not believing and discovering at the end that he actually is for real. Let's continue.
But then I was thinking about this today when I was thinking about what I might talk to you guys about. And I thought, well, let's go into this a little bit more. Let's say you do believe in God. Say, I believe in God. It's like, okay, well, that's hypothetically pretty impressive, I would say. It's like you believe that there's a divine power that oversees everything, that is fundamentally ethical, that's watching everything you do, and you believe that. And so what effect does that have on your behavior if you believe it? Does that mean that are you all in on your beliefs? Are you sacrificing everything to this transcendent entity that you proclaim belief in? Have you cleansed yourself of all your sin, let's say? Are you making all the sacrifices that you need to make? Like, have you taken the mote out of your eye?
When I examine myself when it comes to my belief, I realize how shallow my belief is. Because I just say that I believe, but when I look at my actions, there's lots of it that I shouldn't have done had I believed in God. And yet all the while I thought I believe in God, but my actions doesn't say it. So it he this is the part where he challenges everybody that if you say you believe in God, then make a stand for it. Allow your life to show for what you believe.
You got it. And I think this is why it's bothered me to answer this question. It's like, well, what right do I have to say that, to make that claim? I believe in God. Well, what's the claim? Is that the claim that I'm a good person somehow? Because you'd think that if you believed in God, actually, like seriously, that you'd be a good person, like right now, because, well, well, for obvious reasons, I would think. And so if that hasn't happened in some sort of miraculous sense, so that you're the best person you could possibly imagine being on an ongoing basis.
My take here is that I think what Jordan Peterson is not getting is that for a believer, for somebody who believes in God, it doesn't mean that our life is perfect, nor do we wait that our life is perfect so that we have the right to say that we believe in God. My belief is that I don't have to wait that my life is perfect. In fact, I would say this. I think God is a God of compassion. And if you look at the gospel, there's so many stories wherein he has compassion for people who have sinned. That's true for the story of the prodigal son. That's true for the story of the woman who committed adultery. That's true for all those that he healed. What he looks at is the desire to follow Jesus. If they have the desire to follow Jesus and to obey God, that's what pleases him.
Let's say if you're going to proclaim yourself as a believer, you're called upon initially to act out the spark of divinity that's within you by confronting potential with the logos that's within you, which means to take the opportunities that are in front of you, the potential future, and to transform it into the present in the best possible way, using truth and courage and careful articulation as your guide. So that's the first thing you're called on to do. That's a major deal there. That's a tough one. And then the second is to make the proper sacrifices. That's the Cain and Abel story. Is like you want something, you genuinely want it, you want to set the world straight, then you let go of what's necessary and you pursue. You let go of what isn't necessary, no matter what it is, and then you pursue what's necessary. And then maybe you sacrifice your children to God. That was the story. That's one of the next stories that comes up, of course, and you think, well, that's pretty damn barbaric, and the way the story's laid out, of course it is, but that isn't exactly what it means. It means that what you try to do when you raise children is that you try to do everything you can to impress upon them by imitation and by instruction and by love and by encouragement that they are crucial beings in the world whose ethical decisions play an important role in shaping the structure of reality itself, and that they have the moral responsibility to do that. And you get your ark in order, that's your family, let's say, so that when the storms come, you can stay above water for the 40 days of flooding, and you're capable of leading your people through the desert when the desert makes itself manifest, and you can escape from tyranny properly because you're wise enough to see it, and you take the full burden of being on yourself, all the suffering that's part and parcel of that. You accept that voluntarily, let's say, and you do everything you can to confront the malevolence that's part of you and that's part of the state and that's part of the world. And you make a garden around you. That's the paradise, a walled garden. It's a walled, well-watered place, so the forces of nature and society exist together in harmony, and you place your family in that so that they can live properly. And you treat your enemy as if he's yourself, and the same with your brother. And, well, then you can say, maybe then you have the right to say that you believe in God.
He is definitely right. I think for us Christian, this is a really great reminder to not take belief lightly.